Congratulations, Mr. President-elect.
But above all, I will never forget who this victory truly belongs to. It belongs to you. It belongs to you. It was built by working men and women who dug into what little savings they had to give $5 and $10 and $20 to the cause. It grew strength from the young people who rejected the myth of their generation's apathy, who left their homes and their families for jobs that offered little pay and less sleep. It drew strength from the not-so-young people who braved the bitter cold and scorching heat to knock on doors of perfect strangers, and from the millions of Americans who volunteered and organized and proved that more than 2 centuries later, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people has not perished from the earth. This is your victory.
You ran a flawless and uplifting campaign. I believe it to be reflection of the sterling content of your character. I'm eternally grateful to my fellow Americans for seeing past the feelings of hate and distrust that have taken over our politics. I know you're all facing an enormous mess left behind by the previous administration, but I ask that you hear out this 82-year-old character actor from Hollywood. First, I hope that you'll take a page from the plague book of Franklin Delano Roosevelt and find ways to keep people in their homes and make certain everyone can find a job. I'm old enough to remember the New Deal and the creation of Social Security and the Securities Exchange Commission. I remember how millions of Americans were put to work through the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Works Progress Administration. FDR may not have had the answer to everything, but there are invaluable lessons to be learned there. Secondly, as a victim of the Red Scare and the McCarthy era, I'm most concerned with the damage done to our precious Constitution and our civil rights through things like domestic spying and the suspension of habeas corpus. I don't think I need to tell you, a former constitutional law professor, what I'm talking about, but I think most Americans will agree that we desperately need to restore confidence in our elections. It shouldn't matter what particular party, what political party is in control of state elections. Having to stand in line for hours to vote is effectively a poll tax when you consider the time lost for that voter. It's like a Jim Crow law from 100 years ago, and that's just one of many, many problems. So let's be clear about this. If the American people don't have faith in their election system, there is no democracy. So as you take on the long list of things to do, the economy, Iraq, Afghanistan, healthcare, repairing the infrastructure, rebuilding the middle class, please consider what underpins them all: our Constitution that separates us from the rest of the world. Will you and can you repair the damage done to our Constitution? Can we trust you to not become another so-called imperial president? And what of the criminals who've done this to us? Will anyone be asked to answer for their crimes? Is there any way to stop this from happening again? The lessons of Vietnam were lost to a generation that allowed us to be led into Iraq. We must stop this from ever happening again. Not since September 12, 2001, has America had such goodwill directed our way. That goodwill was squandered by your predecessor, who allowed nefarious people to loot our treasury and circumvent the rule of law. Now the entire world is watching us closely. Together with you out in front, we have the chance to discard the feelings of hate and distrust into the ash can of history. We must trust the power of peace. We only have one federal government. Let's make it the best it can be. Thank you.